For more than a century, the College for Creative Studies has distinguished itself as one of the premier institutions of higher learning in the world. And it was just the other day I was talking with a mom here in Ann Arbor, and she mentioned to me that her son was very interested in photography, and his intent was to start at Washtenaw Community College, but his ultimate goal is to get into the College for Creative Studies in Detroit. And that's our topic today with the Dean of Undergraduate Studies for the College for Creative Studies, Vince Carducci, joining us on Damian Farrell's Damian on Design. And Damian Farrell, you've been talking about the College for Creative Studies for a long time on Damian on Design here.
Haven't we?
And finally, we had a chance to look inside it.
Right here in the studio.
Vince, welcome.
Vince.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for
really
coming.
Happy to be here. You guys have had some great programs, and so the fact that I can come on and be part of it is really awesome. So
well,
I appreciate it.
It really has been a long-term call of us to get you, because it seems to me that the college is such a vital and important and such an institution in this area. Now, did it start because of automotive design? Is that its origin?
Actually, the origins of the College for Creative Studies are in the American Arts and Crafts movement.
Okay.
Started as the Detroit Society of the Arts and Crafts, and it's school for training painters, at that time, craftsmen, artisans. So this was in 1906.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so this is right around. This is parallel with Cranbrook then.
Well, actually,
Right,
Cranbrook isn't founded until the 20s, and
Okay.
we like to say that Cranbrook comes out of the arts and
Okay,
crafts
no, I get it.
movement, and so we feel like we're there first, and call that a little bit of chauvinism on our part, but that's kind of the facts.
How did it branch out from there then?
Basically, the society put on art shows. They did some pretty interesting things, actually, in the first half of the 20th century, with even having theater performance, and published a magazine on theater. So the school is kind of what has survived over time. The first automotive design classes were offered in the 1930s. Okay. So the society was actually the first art institution to basically say that automobile design was an art form. Mm-hmm. So we've been at it for a long time. We basically put more people in automotive design jobs than any other school in the world. And we've got them working, of course, at the big three. And in fact, one of the top guy at Chrysler in design is a CCS guy, happy to say. Really? And but they're at Nissan, Toyota. They're basically all over. Okay. So that's been something that we've been known for. But again, in other areas of design, we've been pretty progressive as well. So it was in the 1920s, actually, that we started offering commercial illustration classes. Okay. So the idea of the arts and crafts movement, as it was kind of presented in Detroit, was to basically ameliorate the design process. The designer stands at the front end of the whole production process. Right. So by bringing the aesthetic to bear at that point, you can set up the paradigm that then enables good design to happen. And as Paul Rand once said, good design is goodwill. And that's kind of what we're about.
On your website, which when you go to collegeforcreativestudies.edu, you can tell immediately what it's all about. I mean, your website's very illustrative of what you do there, and I love that. You feature some of your alums, and one of them is an alum who graduated in 1994 in product design. He works for Pixar Animation Studios, Donald Crumb.
Right.
That's
we've got some pretty distinguished alumni working in all kinds of fields, and they take different paths to get there. I mean, you might start out in one department, but that's what happens in life. You wind up someplace else. And so, our website has little profiles of various alumni, students, faculty, and it's a great resource. I got to say, that was work done for us by Team Detroit, and all the people who have been working on the work that Team Detroit is doing for CCS are all CCS alums.
Oh, really?
So,
wow.
It's a little world, we like it that way.
Yeah, but it's a powerful world when it comes to design thinking.
It is. It's
Yeah.
huge. In fact, Steve Heller, the noted design historian and critic, received an honorary doctorate from us this past spring, and ended up writing a big article for the Atlantic on the art and design school that may well save Detroit. And quite frankly, I personally feel pretty strongly about that. I mean, when we talk about the creative economy and what the third iteration of Detroit will be. The first iteration was as a trading entrepot,
Yeah.
and the second was as a manufacturing center. And so now what is the third iteration going to be? And as it relates to the creative economy, what's the obvious place? I mean, we are literally located in the center of the city and just have connections through all disciplines. And these days, basically, aesthetics and information are built into everything. I mean, you can't even get a cup of coffee that doesn't have a whole branding thing around it. And so the fact that we are there playing in all of those different disciplines, whether it's product, transportation, graphic design, advertising, glass blowing, our glass blowing facility is amazing. And so the fact that we're there, I think, is really key to what the future of Detroit could be.
Vince, you bring up a really good point, because look who came back first to the city of Detroit. The artisans, the advertising agencies now that are all coming downtown. It's amazing to see the creativity that is
the
really
artists,
rebuilding Detroit.
Right. Yeah, and so again, we're pretty key in that whole process. There's so many little groups out there, places like Pony Ride, D-Hive, OmniCorp, that are all places where essentially makers can go using 3D printers. And one of the things that's happened, besides the fact that essentially living in Detroit is relatively affordable as opposed to living in Brooklyn or San Francisco, is that the proliferation of basically desktop design power is amazing. What you have, even in a handheld device now, compared to what you would have had even 10 years ago, is quite amazing. And so that power has been unleashed. And people are out there, and I think what's really interesting is, as it relates to CCS, is the students come and they don't leave.
I was going to ask that. So you're seeing that. They
Yes.
come out of the college and they stay. And they're doing their work in Detroit.
Right. Well, I mean,
That's cool.
if you
That
look
is great.
at again, call it chauvinism, but the Kresge Arts in Detroit fellowships, there are more people who have gotten those grants in the visual arts area that have either been students taught at CCS than any of the other art schools in Southeast Michigan basically put together. So, and they're hanging around and working.
Vince Carducci, Dean of Undergraduate Studies at the College for Creative Studies. Where exactly are you located?
We are located in Midtown, so we have the main campus, which is right behind the Detroit Institute of Arts. And so there is where we have the administration and fine arts, crafts, photography, illustration, what we call animation arts, which is a really hot area right now. Animation, stop motion video, game design. And about 4 years ago, we opened the A. Alfred Taubman Center for Design Education, which is the former Argonaut building of GM.
Oh,
it's a
sure.
building with an
Okay.
amazing amount of history. It's 2 blocks south of the boulevard, 1 block west, of Woodward, and it's where GM basically invented car design. Harley Earl's office was in that building, and amazing things were done there. And just coming through, in fact, when we were going through to take over the building and remodel it, Harley Earl's office was still there.
Oh,
Really?
really?
And so there's
Wow.
we kind of made a little shrine to him. We call it the Harley Earl Lounge, which is where his office used to be, and it's got photographs of some of the cars that he's designed, and his picture, and so Yeah, it's an amazing facility, 750,000 square feet. We occupy a good piece of it, but we also have some tenants, one of them being the company Shinola, that's getting a lot of attention right now for bringing watchmaking
and
to
bicycles,
the city,
yeah.
bicycles, leather goods.
Who is behind Shinola?
Again, you know, Tom Kartsotis likes to keep a low profile. He's a very, very unassuming guy, fantastic guy, actually. I tell my students, you know, pay attention to Tom. When you are out interviewing and you meet somebody that reminds you of Tom, take that job regardless of what it pays, because you're going to be in for a great ride. Anyway, it's Tom Kartsotis. He was the founder of Fossil. And so he knows a lot about making watches.
He does.
And he also knows a lot about making money. He's a really, really smart guy.
Why is he invested in Detroit? He's from, what, Texas?